Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today is going to be another little chit chat about how clothing can make us feel. So I touched on this a little bit in my last video, kind of when I was discussing my 3 month spending ban and how I expect clothes to make me feel a certain way, which is why I kind of indulge and impulse shop. And I previously made a video as well about why we should dress up from home. So how what we wear kind of affects our productivity and things like that. So I'll link those below if you haven't seen them already. I'll link them in the cards. But today I want to talk about how clothing, kind of our everyday clothing and what we wear, affects our self-esteem and our self-confidence. So we all have those moments when we put on an outfit. It can kind of go either way. We either feel amazing, we look in the mirror, we love what we see. We also can just, even without looking in the mirror, you feel amazing. Either the fit feels really nice, it's comfortable, the fabric feels amazing on your skin. Or it can kind of go the other extreme where you put on an outfit and you just feel like crap. Excuse my language. But you know, it's like the fit's wrong, you don't feel comfortable, maybe you don't even feel like you, like, I don't know, the fabric's not right, it's itchy, it's sweaty, it just doesn't make you feel good. And what you wear can have a serious impact on your day. Like if your clothing is distracting you for negative reasons, it's going to impact your day. It's going to keep distracting you and taking you away from just being in the moment and doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is either being at work or enjoying your time with friends or whatever that is. So in this video, I just want to discuss a little bit about why that could be and tips to, I guess, not prevent it in the future, but kind of ways of working with that and making this work for you in the positive way, so that you know before you even put on an outfit you're gonna love it. We all know the saying fake it to make it, and I think this kind of can apply a little bit here. You can put on a great outfit if you're not feeling your best and it can lift your mood, but I think there's only a certain amount you can lift. Like, you're not going to put on a ball gown and automatically feel amazing. You might still feel a little bit self-conscious or less than confident in what you choose. So I would say pick more of what you're comfortable in. If you have a style uniform that you've kind of figured out and that is comfortable to you, it makes you feel like yourself. I think when I feel my most confident is when I feel like my true self, like I'm not trying to be anybody that I'm not. Because that's when I tend to kind of fail at being that person that I'm trying to be, is when I'm not being myself, if that makes sense. There is a theory called enclothed cognition, and this was coined by Adam Galinsky. And it's a paper I read as part of my thesis, which I also mentioned in a previous video. But for those of you who haven't heard about it before, it's the idea where the wearer of the clothing kind of takes on the characteristics of the clothes being worn. So really quickly, going to fill you in on this study that was carried out. Two groups of people were asked to take the Stroop Test. Stroop Test is when you are shown words like colours, but the colour, say the word is brown, but it's written in red, and you have to say the colour it's written in. So instead of reading it, you have to kind of identify the colour. Can be a little bit tricky. So two groups were asked to carry this out. One group was told that this white coat that they were putting on was a doctor's coat, and the other group was told it was a painter's coat. And the group that were told that it was a doctor's coat performed significantly better because they took on the characteristics of a doctor, like someone who's important, someone who doesn't get things wrong, someone who can work well under pressure and is, you know, perhaps deemed like smarter than typically like an artist or a painter. Of course, they can be incredibly smart, but you know, they're just, it's different. The characteristics are different. So because they thought it was a painter, because they thought it was a doctor's coat, they performed better, that just blows my mind. That is kind of what I wrote my thesis on, and it still fascinates me. So we can use this in our everyday lives to try and apply certain characteristics to our clothes. So my number one tip for how to boost your self-esteem or your self-confidence with fashion would be to not wear anything that you have negative associations with. So if it's like a top that was given to you by your ex, or you know, something that you wore on a certain day that something bad happened, you know, things like that. Perhaps it's like a piece of clothing, like it could be a black blazer that you wore to a funeral. Just things like that. they keep their negative associations, and if it's reminding you of those things, even if it's not really consciously reminding you, you can be kind of pulling out those emotions as well while you wear that piece. So do be wary of that. If there's anything in your wardrobe that you feel that like kind of springs to mind now that you think you probably shouldn't be wearing, maybe make a list of them or just go to your wardrobe and pull them out. Obviously it's a black blazer, you can probably keep it for future funerals, unfortunately. They will come up, but yeah, maybe don't try and wear it to a job interview or on a first date, things that you kind of want to be feeling your best for. Number 2 is to work with colors. So color psychology, again, another massive area of psychology that I'm not 100% like tuned in on just yet, but I am learning more about it and I'm loving it. But I think we can all kind of, we all know a lot of the basics. Red kind of stands for strength and power, sometimes danger as well. Yellow is really like happy and optimistic color. Blue is quite calming color. Green, kind of really like natural, a lot of green in nature. So if you could figure out in your own wardrobe, maybe even try and document it a little bit. If you wear a lot of color day to day, you could maybe take snaps of your outfit and kind of try and think back to how you felt in that outfit that day, whether you were wearing blue and you felt really calm all day, or whether you were wearing red and you felt really powerful. We all know that like the red dress you wear on a date, it makes you feel sexy, powerful, and maybe a little bit dangerous as well. But then you also have your favorite colors that you wear. Everyone's color psychology, or everyone how they relate to colors will be different. We all have our favorites, and certain colors will make us feel certain things. So try and figure out which colors make you feel good and which colors don't, and try and maybe steer clear of the ones that don't. Or maybe it's just different feelings that they make you feel. So you might want to wear a red blazer to your job interview. You might want to wear a blue jumper if you're feeling a little bit anxious that day. You might want to wear, I don't know, a yellow dress just to feel really happy and optimistic. So, you know, do a little bit of research into that and figure out what your happy colors are, or your strength colors, or your positive, calm colors. But my next tip is to figure out your favorite fabrics. So different fabrics will make us feel different things. Sometimes we want to feel really cozy and warm and comfortable. Cashmere is lovely for that, really nice soft wools, or a velvet, things like that, that kind of just make you think of like hygge and really like cozy fabrics. Also silk feels amazing on the skin. Any fabrics that I'm saying that are like cashmere, silk, animal derived fabrics, I always recommend sourcing them secondhand. That's kind of how I like to source them, just to keep my wardrobe cruelty free. But natural fabrics do tend to feel the nicest. So yeah, silk feels incredible on your skin. If you're wearing like a silk dress on a date, it just makes you feel feminine and sexy, and I love to wear silk for more like dressy occasions, if I'm trying to just bring out my feminine side a bit. And if I want to feel a little bit tougher and edgy, I might want to throw on leather or leather look kind of fabric. So figure out again your favorite fabrics. Certain fabrics will have certain characteristics associated with them as well. This next point is coming from a self-confidence kind of point of view, also more like body confidence. So figure out your favorite silhouettes. So some people will adore their legs but hate their stomachs. As an example, you don't have to hate your stomach. I wish no one did. But you know, so maybe you're more confident about your legs than you are about your torso. So you might choose a real nice skinny or slim trouser and maybe a more oversized top. Or vice versa, you might be a little bit bum and hips conscious but love your tiny torso and, you know, quite happy with your chest as well and your arms, and you want to show that off, so wear a slimmer top and maybe a wider bottom, so that kind of skins the hips. So knowing what kind of balanced outfit you want to wear, you're going to be less likely to reach for things that you don't like. So if you are conscious of a certain area, you might be less likely to, you're less likely to feel good in an outfit that draws attention to it. Even if no one else notices, I feel like you notice and you feel like other people notice. And that's where the kind of self-confidence issue comes into play. But if you can feel really confident in whatever kind of silhouettes and styles that you choose to wear, it will just make such a difference. And if it's not clinging, if your clothing's not clinging to certain areas, you will just feel a bit more comfortable about them. The next tip is to nail at least one power outfit. So power dressing, I think it came out in maybe like, was it the 60s or maybe I don't know, I think when suits kind of came out for women and they had those big shoulders, definitely from the 80s anyway, when women started wearing suits and started dressing, and it was called power dressing. But it's never called power dressing when it's a man, only when it's a woman. But anyway, so, but it kind of makes you feel like you could achieve anything in that day, makes you feel like whatever's on your to-do list, you can get it ticked off. For me, that would be a suit that I actually bought earlier this year. I haven't really had much of a chance to wear it yet, but every time I try it on, I just feel amazing. And I think it's because I feel maybe a bit more my age, kind of like the later end of my 20s. But going through college so late in life and only graduating when I was 26, I felt like I always just felt a bit younger than I was, or like I should have felt more mature, but I was kind of a little bit like set back a few years. And again, I was just wearing like casual clothes, dressing for uni and things like that. So I never really dressed my age and I never really felt my age. But now that I have a job and I can dress a bit more professionally, it just makes me feel so much better. I think it's worth mentioning as well that what we wear not only affects how we perceive ourselves, but it's kind of how others perceive us as well. So if we want to maybe do better in life, or maybe be taken more seriously, or, you know, come across as maybe more feminine or more whatever, insert adjective here, when we dress a certain way, others will perceive us like that. It's not a conscious thing, and it's not intentional, but I think we're just so programmed to think a woman in a dress is feminine or more feminine than a woman in trousers, and, you know, someone who wears leather trousers is tougher than someone who wears jeans. You know, it's just, we have these associations with clothing, and it's very ingrained in society as well. So it is kind of hard to kind of come away from those. You can use it to your advantage, which is great, but obviously it can come with a disadvantage as well, because we should be allowed to wear whatever we want without other people perceiving us in certain ways. But just keep that in mind if you do want to try and use how you dress to see how others can perceive you, or what they think about you. And finally, and I can't stress this enough, just figure out what makes you feel good, because this will be different for everybody. So, I mean, I could tell you what makes me feel really good, but that outfit might make you feel like shit. It might not be you, it might not be your style, it might be a fabric you hate, or a color you hate, or just a style that you just don't like. I know some people feel super confident and, you know, sew themselves in a dress, and dresses for me aren't really like that, unless, not day to day, unless it's like evening. But yeah, just find out what feels good for you. Maybe you could document your outfits over a few weeks, jot down a few notes at the end of the day to say how you felt in it, how productive you felt, how happy you felt, were you distracted by it, did it fit right? Another great tip for seeing if outfits kind of feel good is to not look in the mirror. Don't look at what they look like, just kind of put it on and see how it feels. And if, you know, the waistband fits nicely and it's not too tight, not too loose either, the crotch isn't too short, the neckline's not too low, you know, you just feel comfortable. And I think it's a really good step before you look at an outfit, because you might think you look amazing, but if you don't actually feel comfortable in it, then we're gonna have some problems. I hope this video was informative and somewhat helpful for you guys. I am just so into fashion psychology. I just think it's really fascinating how clothing can have such an impact on our lives, when it's seen as this superficial thing that we shouldn't care too much about, but actually so much of our life gets impacted by what we wear that day. Which is why I try to help clients to figure out a wardrobe that makes them feel amazing, so that they can kind of just pull outfits with their eyes closed and always find something that feels good for them. So whether it's the right colors for them, or the right silhouette, or just their style, just kind of figuring out their personal style. If you are interested in any personal styling, you can visit my website. I'll have the link below. And if you want to learn more about building a capsule wardrobe as well, because that's kind of what I talk about even more than fashion psychology, I will leave my ebook below, How to Build the Perfect Capsule Wardrobe. And it's all about building a wardrobe that suits you and figuring out what your ideal wardrobe would be. There's no checklist of items you need to have in it, because it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. So I'll leave the link below if you want to check that out. And thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love your feedback, so leave all of the comments below. I want to say a huge thank you because today I have reached 3,000 subscribers. Can't believe there's 3,000 of you guys out there watching my videos. It's amazing. You're always so supportive and have like the nicest comments, and I feel like you're teaching me as well because you always comment with like your take on things, and I just love that. And I just love talking about capsule wardrobes and about fashion psychology and how clothing can impact our lives, and hopefully impact them for the better. So with that, I will leave you. I will have another video up on Sunday, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.